Hey, y'all. Welcome to this week's podcast where we are talking about Mark's book. It is the second anniversary, and we are going to dive in and answer all of the fan questions because, quite frankly, we've never done that before. Let's get into it. Well, hey, howdy, hey.
Well, what's up?
How's it going, y'all?
You know, it couldn't be better.
Fantastic.
Wow.
Look at that.
I like how yellow you are.
I do too. That's
That's why
something.
yellow makes me sad.
I was
think.
just about to say that. You stole my line. Well, guess what this week is?
I don't know.
It's a very special anniversary.
I don't know.
The anniversary of Mark's book
Oh,
coming
yes.
out.
Oh, yeah, baby. Yeah.
The whole episode?
The whole episode.
We're
is
going to
Wow.
talk about me?
Oh, man, who didn't
I'm
see that
already
coming?
regretting this.
Yeah.
Already. This week does indeed mark the second anniversary of Mark's book, The Boys and Me, not podcast, but book, My Life in Country Music Supergroup Sawyer Brown, a memoir by Mark Miller.
Yeah.
So this episode, we are going to be taking time to talk all about the book and answer some fan-specific questions because I was realizing we've never done that, and you do get questions about the book because it's not the band, it's your life.
It's a big
and
deal, yeah.
You've never really talked about that.
And you guys don't know this, but in whoever the book people are wanted me to take a supergroup out of the title.
And you refused.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You refused.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like it.
so let's just do a little warm-up with some question and answer, if
Okay.
y'all are good with that. Okay, I'm going to ask Mark some questions. I'm going to ask you some questions, Hobie.
Okay.
So
it's
is
not-
this about stuff
Okay.
in my book?
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Look at him. He's just...
I know. He's like,
He couldn't be happy. He's just tickled to bits.
Yeah.
Wait, it's my birthday party? Everyone's bringing me gifts? I like this. Yeah.
Okay, so Dad, when did you decide that you wanted to tell your story?
I don't think I did. I think you guys talked me into it because we, especially Frank, who is my
Yes,
brother,
yes.
and he manages the band.
And we should maybe give some context too that when this came out as part of the 40th anniversary project, which is what we've called it. So
Right.
when Sawyer Brown turned 40, we had conversations years leading up to this about what, we were going to do to celebrate the band.
Yeah.
I say we, I was voluntold I was part of this entire shindig, and now I'm just here.
Yeah.
Sorry, y'all. And part of that was Uncle Frank really wanted you to tell your story of how you even got in the band, because
Right.
that was kind of so,
Yeah.
I don't want to say unrealistic, but unexpected.
Yeah. Unexpected is a very good word.
Yeah. So I guess so, yeah. So did you decide that you wanted to tell your story? Or?
Well, it was when you guys made it a part of the 40-year package, the first thing that I thought, who would want to read about me? I really did. I thought the last thing that people would want to do is read about me. But anyway, so some people have. So
Okay, Hobie,
Yes.
you are the, I don't want to say the librarian of the group, but you are the most well-read probably of the band.
Well,
I
one
like
of the-
librarian.
Yeah.
let me put it this way. Hobie,
Hobie's the librarian of the
Hobie
group.
is the most academically inclined,
Well, yeah, if we're grading on a curve. Yeah.
grading on a curve of the group. So what was your first thought when your little buddy Mark said he was going to write a book?
Do you want me to be serious or be a Weisenheimer?
Both.
Because seriously, I was glad because I knew there was a story there. I can't resist saying I do love that this is life size. That's probably my favorite part of the book. It's literally like having him in your house. But aside from that, because we don't judge a book by its cover, we really don't. But
Wow.
I was glad he was doing it because I knew there was in fact a story there. There is in fact a story there.
He's also,
I couldn't believe he was doing it because I
Right.
knew he was like I'm not going to do this. And his thought really was, no one's going to want to read this.
Well, Dad, you're such a good storyteller. You come from this great tradition of like oral storytelling, and you do this, I feel like, naturally, but the thought of like putting it to paper, I think, is daunting because reading is something that you don't do.
Right. Well, as Hobie pointed out, I now have written more books than I've read.
Yeah.
So,
which is quite an accomplishment. Not every author can say that.
Now, Hobie, when you and Dad, I know, were like talking through just the stories for the book, did it bring back any memories that you hadn't maybe revisited in a long time because you guys crossed paths pretty early on?
Yeah. You mean just stuff that's in the book or just in general?
Stuff that's in the book.
I mean, yeah. I mean, because I remember all of this stuff. And there is a lifetime's worth of stories in here and that didn't.
and I made him read it like prior.
Right.
Yeah. But it wasn't even a make me. I was glad to read it as it was kind of coming to life because there are great stories. And it's a way of seeing the person behind the little dancing man that's out there, which is really, look, I just needed somebody who danced in my band because I'm Presbyterian and by law we can't do that. So I needed that, but there actually is a great story about how he got to where he is.
Right.
And we do have to say, give Robert Nolan some love because Robert, I told the stories. He would just record it, and then he was able to make sense of it.
Yeah.
So Robert Nolan really deserves a lot of credit.
Crafts that into the helping. It's like being in the studio and being a producer where you're corralling those stories into what you see here.
Yeah.
Okay, and now, so Dad, you mentioned this like early on, but how long did it take you to land on the title for the book?
I think we were looking through several different things, and and again, I just didn't want it to be about me. Because
which is why I suggested Hobie changed my life. But I don't know, demographic surveys
hit the cutting room floor.
I know.
Come on.
And it was a big song, but it is about me, and
it's a great title
early on, but also these knuckleheads.
Yeah.
A title so nice we used it twice.
Yes.
Right. Yep.
Now, Hobie, how involved were the guys in the band in knowing like what was going to go in this book?
Zero.
Yeah.
No, it's like, in fact, we had to buy our own copies. We weren't given a copy. I had to go to.
He didn't even sign it for you? Come on, Dad.
No,
Come
I still have an unsigned copy.
No.
Yeah, he says he won't do it. If I do the thing where you pay at the merch table and get in line, he'll do it.
You know what? I don't even have a signed copy.
Well, we should work on that.
Sir?
That seems doubly unfair.
And we do have to say, if you come to the show
Yes.
and you have bought a book or buy a book at the show, I will sign it and meet you after the show.
And you can have something that Hobie and I will probably
You know
never
what?
have.
Let's do that one night. Let's go and get in that line.
Yes.
And if you just write my name or misspell it, no. I want
Hubby?
to
Kobe? Cuddly?
Cubby? Yeah.
Okay, getting back on track.
All right.
Dad, was it harder to start the book or finish the book?
Well, probably to start it because you don't know where, at what point
Yeah.
to start, And, so much of it revolves around the early stuff, around my mom and developing who I am was because of her,
Yeah.
Now, is there a story that fans always ask about that did not make the book? I would think no, because you guys were notoriously kind of quiet about like doing interviews and stuff throughout the years, and everything was always very focused on the music. So I feel like there probably wouldn't be stuff out there that they would ask about that wasn't in here.
No, I think because
I think the thing that I'm, happiest with in the book is the way that I was able to talk about my faith through all of my experiences. And that was a big deal to me, and again, it was because my mom instilled that in me early on.
Yeah, that's foundational.
Now, this question's for Hobie.
Yes.
Is there a particular story that you noticed did not make the book but should be in the book?
Well, of course, I would not answer that question, but I don't think so because, no, the stuff that forms him as a person, I think, is in this book. That's why so much of this book, and I don't want to get myself choked up here on camera, is a love letter to his mom, who deserves all of that. What she did in building the men that your dad and Frank are is incredible. So that's the part, that's probably my favorite stuff, is when I can hear those moments of her in there.
But there also are a lot of outlandish things that happen.
There are. And, you know, your dad, you know, he lives adjacent to the truth. You know, he might not live in the same house as the truth. No, I'm kidding. But no, there are great stories from over the years, and some that, you know, just don't need to be in a book, but that are just funny, but would lose something in translation.
No.
He told
No,
me
but
once
wait, I haven't even gotten
legit.
to my question.
Oh, you know, you know how you always say I just talk too much?
Yeah.
I think I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You talk
I thought
a lot.
I'd answered it.
You talk a lot, man.
Did you have a question, Madison?
I do have a question. Okay, this is for both of you, actually.
Okay.
Which
Well, I probably
story
already
from
answered.
the book sounds most unbelievable that actually happened?
For me, a lot of people don't believe the water ski story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to
Of
say
how,
water
I,
ski.
how I
Yeah.
got the job.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I had never skied before.
Which
Yes.
sets the tone, honestly, for everything that happened since then. It's all like
Correct.
with us, was never like, oh, we can't do there, we can't be there, whatever. It's like, yeah, we can do that.
Right, because when we've already pulled one over at 16.
Yeah.
Right.
When you pulled
The
one over on
world's
the
your
mouse.
oyster.
See, please, come on.
The world is your
Yeah.
oyster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all about confidence.
There you go. If
Yeah,
you just
exactly.
walk confidently like you should be there, people don't question it.
Right.
Now, Dad, was there a moment that you loved personally that you're like, oh, I wish I could put it in there, but it just didn't like fit with the flow of the book?
Of stuff that happened,
I mean, it's just like, yeah, just like stuff from like growing
there was
up.
a lot of stuff. Well, with the band, there was a lot of stuff, pranks that we pulled on each other that did not make the book.
So they weren't for public consumption.
No, and some of them may end up in a book at some point,
Well,
but
okay.
a lot of them will never end
Yeah,
up
some
in a
of them.
book.
Certainly shouldn't. Yeah.
Okay, and then we will end on this. Were there chapters or eras that you had to condense maybe more than you wanted to keep it, you know, like in the good kind of like page number that you wanted?
Well, yeah, and there was a lot of stuff I had to go back because I had to call TK a couple times, Frank, and just figure out time frames.
Well, that was
Because
funny.
there's so much,
Yeah.
you're talking, I'm 50 now.
Exactly. And a math major in school.
I'm 50
There
now.
is that thing of things run together when it's like, oh, this happened, but which of these two things happened?
So there was a lot
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah.
But I will tell you one story, because your brother, you know how particular your brother is
Very
about,
particular.
he's a perfectionist. So the chapter about him in the book, I wanted to make sure that number one, he approved, and everything that I was saying was correct. But the greatest quote was, he said, Dad, he goes, you've never let the truth get in the way of a good story. Why are you even calling me about this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember thinking during this experience, you having to fact check your own life,
Yeah.
which is kind of funny.
Pretty
Is that
crazy.
not? Yeah,
Pretty crazy.
We were having to do it
actually.
for the documentary, but that was in terms of like the band. But you were having to like call cousins and like fact check
Yeah.
your own life, and I just remember thinking that was really funny
Yeah.
because, like Gunnar says,
Well,
you've never
yeah.
let the truth get in the way of a good
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
Okay, now moving on to our next bit because we love bits.
Okay.
And it is a new year, and guess what?
Buzzers?
We have new props.
Are
Ready?
the buzzers gone?
We have a spinning wheel.
Oh, man.
Oh, wow.
Wheel of Fortune.
Wheel of Fortune style. Dad, if you've noticed, on this wheel, there are lots of famous athletes on here. These are all friends that you mentioned in the book, and we clearly do not have time on this podcast to get to all of them.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is, Hobie, you're going to have the honors, the
Okay.
great honors of spinning the wheel,
Okay.
and then we'll land on a name, and then I'll just ask one quick question about that person
Okay.
to give fans maybe a little taste of what's in the book if they have not read.
You ready, little fella?
Yep.
Let's go. I love this new toy.
Greg Maddox.
Oh, boy.
Okay. Now, when was the first time you met Greg?
first time I would have met Greg would have been, we were playing Las Vegas. Greg's wife, Kathy, and his sister are big fans of the band. And they came out to a show, and I met Greg in Vegas.
That's awesome. Yeah. Okay, let's spin that wheel again. I love this so much.
Oh boy. Rick Sutcliffe.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, big Rick.
Where do we even start? Hobie, I'll let you ask him a question because there are just so many.
I would say, what's any story that you could tell about Rick on a podcast?
Yeah.
But first time you went golfing.
First time we went golfing. Okay, so I didn't know Rick real well, and he had his best friend from high school, Meat, and we were playing. And when you're golfing, everybody wants to have a little wager, and there's a thing called handicap. So Sut says he's a 13, and Meat says he's a 23 handicap. Now, 13 is about maybe where I was. 23 is like where you would be.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're golfing, and I realized really quick that Sut is more of a scratch golfer, and Meat is a 13 or 14 like me. So incidentally, they took my money that day. That was the first time, and I'm thinking, but they both were carrying handicap cards.
Oh yeah,
of their handicap.
They committed to the bet.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
And somehow that was the start of a beautiful friendship.
Yeah. Well, I had to get my money back.
Yeah. Okay, spin that wheel again.
Troy Aikman.
Oh boy.
Ooh.
Yeah, man.
Because that's a big old name.
It's a legend.
Legend.
Yeah. We get a call. It was early in our career. And at this point, we're still so new that we don't know that we wouldn't think of anybody famous knew who we were. And we get a call. We're playing Billy Bob's that Troy Aikman wants to come and bring his mom and sister. And they did. And we were just like blown away.
Yeah.
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 Because truly, he's a legend.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the great thing about everybody that you'll see on this list here, we're still great friends with today. Good friends.
Spin that wheel.
Again. Oop. I'm going to give you a bit.
Like you're cheating.
It's like a little veal spin. Who we got?
Charles Barkley.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think I know this story.
Well, Rick Sutcliffe and Charles are real close.
Okay.
So Sut, we're going to go to a Phoenix game when Charles played at Phoenix. And Sut tells us that Charles is a fan. And then you can go from there.
Well, I don't know how much of this story to tell. Because we probably shouldn't tell all of it.
You could, tell some of it.
We go in and he's like, just go on back in there. So we go in and Barkley comes out not wearing anything.
Yeah.
And he goes,
he's got a towel on.
I'm so glad y'all got to meet me naked. That's the first line we hear from Charles Barkley.
Yeah.
And you know what?
Yeah.
And we will say Charles was playing, so he was in shape at this point. It wasn't big Charles.
Right.
It was athletic Charles.
This is when, half of the things that come out of both of y'all's mouths sounds like a fever dream.
I know.
And somehow it's true.
That they happened.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we have time for one more.
Who are we going to get? Come on.
Come
Who
on.
are we going to get? Mitch Williams.
Mitch Williams, who was known as the Wild Thing.
Baseball player
For the Phillies. We were playing Billy Bob's again. And Mitch, and now our road manager, Colin DeFevers, is a big baseball fan.
Okay.
So Mitch comes up to the merch table, and Colin was selling merchandise. And Mitch says, I want one of everything. And Colin says, you're Wild Thing, Mitch Williams, right? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, I would love to meet Mark and the guys. And Colin goes, absolutely. So we meet Mitch, but the bigger story about Mitch is Mitch's wife was having a birthday party. Mitch hires us and rents out Billy Bob.
No.
Yeah. Rents out the whole Billy Bob complex to play at his wife's birthday party. Now, there were probably 30 people in a building that holds 10,000, right? And Mitch is right down front by himself because he loved the band. The other 30 people were over mingling with each other. And finally, Mitch just starts yelling out songs.
I mean, it's a regular show for Mitch. Yeah.
Yeah. Starts yelling out songs. And we played Billy Bob's for Mitch Williams.
Yeah.
Again,
I know.
you just can't make this stuff up.
Yeah.
Okay. The truth is truly stranger than fiction sometimes. Okay, now we're going to move on to a fun bit that I'm very excited about.
Okay.
Hunter and I have really workshopped to this one.
Okay.
I am going to read a passage from the book about Hobie. And we're going to
About me?
and we're going to get Hobie's reaction. Okay.
First of all, let me set this up. Everything in there about Hobie, I lied. Okay? Everything. Everything in there, I lied. Go ahead.
And let me be honest, that's the only chapter I read. So if there's stuff about other people, I have no idea. I really don't.
Okay.
Okay.
A dramatic reading by Madison Miller.
Oh, I like that.
When we graduated from high school, Hobie procrastinated getting into college, maybe out of some kind of rebellion coming from that intellectual DNA. He was always kind of a rebel with long hair and more rock and roll than academia. First, let it breathe.
There's some truth in that. There is some truth to the fact that perhaps I had given my parents the understanding that I had applied to some different colleges that I had not applied to. And then it was like 2 weeks before school starts. I'm like, you know what? I really didn't get my ducks in order.
Was this before or after your brother was enrolled at Harvard?
Oh, my brother was, he was about to go to Harvard. And yeah, that's when I ended up at the community college.
Well, and I want to point out that he did end up, he had to go to the community college, which Nate Bargatze points out that means that you're probably going to stay in the community.
Yeah, you're in the community.
Right.
Okay. But no, it's actually a great experience. Great community college. I don't want to slag them. Seminole.
Okay.
Seminole. Loved it.
Do you feel like that was an accurate description of you at the time?
Sure. I think there were so many levels of clueless at that point. Yeah, that's probably as kind as he could have put that.
Do you feel like you were choosing music against expectations or just following what felt right, or you weren't really thinking all that hard?
I was not thinking that hard. I really wasn't. No.
I think at the time it was anything that was going to go against what people thought he should do.
There probably was always some of that.
Yeah, okay. A little going against
a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Now,
everybody thought I was going to go to school on a football scholarship. And I'm like, nope. No. I'm choosing my own path.
They never thought that.
Seriously?
No.
You're kidding me.
No, never.
Oh my God, this is the first I've heard of this.
Are you ready for our second passage?
Yeah. Okay.
Open your ears and your hearts.
Okay.
The two of us got on board with music very naturally, even though he has always been a far better musician. While I could come in with a song, Hobie would be able to formulate it and make it sound like the record. Now that sounds almost like a compliment.
That sounds like so much BS to me. Honestly, I don't even know how you wrote that.
That was me making up the story.
Totally.
About,
you know what we've said about just making things up?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I don't buy that.
Okay. Well, what are you usually listening for when Mark would bring you a new song? Maybe think back to like the early days.
Oh, tell him exactly what you told me. That he came, we met in Pizza Hut.
Where I had a legitimate career going, I should point out. I had a smock.
And I had written these songs. Yeah. And later he told me, he said,
Now he makes this.
We're
already wandering into the story area. No,
I'm not making it up. No, he said, well, first I wanted to hear this stuff for my own entertainment. He said, because I thought the jock, Mark Miller, has written some songs.
No. Okay.
Oh, please.
Okay.
I have heard you say that with my own ears.
What I thought was, this is not who I would have expected. First of all, I should have been chatting on my shift at Pizza Hut because we could get written up for that. But certainly not looking for other work. That's how people get marched out of there. So I was A, worried about my job. B, I was like, this is not somebody who I would have expected to come in and say, I've written songs. And see, he makes this up, you know. But no, I was surprised that he was writing songs because I would have never thought that that's what you'd be doing. Yeah. But then who was immediately on board with the fact, oh, wow. I mean, when I heard him, I'm like, what to the what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, would you still?
I can still sing some of them and do from time to time. That first batch of songs.
Please teach those to my children.
I would love to do that.
Oh,
I would love to do that.
Absolutely.
You know what I found?
Don't tell me you found that tape.
I found the cassette that it's up here, that we came to Nashville with.
What?
The original cassette.
Boy, that's something.
That belongs in a museum.
Yeah.
Right next to the Pizza Hut smock.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, would you still say that you are a far better musician than Mark?
Yes. He is. I will give him that.
No, I wouldn't say that.
I will give him that.
I wouldn't say that.
Now, he's pathetic.
Now he's just being
He's pitiful. He's pathetic.
Yeah.
But
far better? I don't know if I'd say far better, but no, definitely better, but not. No. Okay.
Are you ready for this one? Mm-hmm. Here's my bottom line on Hobie Hubbard. He's the heartbeat of the band. He lives the band. With Hobie, I always know that nothing is going to slip through the cracks concerning us. Aww.
I mean, what am I supposed to say here?
well,
okay.
well, listen. It is.
Well, I don't know about that.
No. He does.
I would say I do live the band in that it's like when I'm on board with something, that's it. Mm-hmm. That's it. And so with this band, it was like all in. Look, I had Walgreens and Pizza Hut to fall back on, so it's not like I didn't have options here, people. But I was all in on this band, you know, well, and still am.
Other than your two boys, Jack and Eli, he is like, he corrals us. And Hobie was always like, I always knew that Hobie was going to keep us in check, always.
Well, someone has to remember the schedule.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's that.
Now, let me ask you this. Does it ever feel like a really heavy role to carry? Because you truly are corralling cats on tour.
No, because, you know, I know where their food bowls are, if these are my cats. And, you know, I put different sounding bells on each one of them so I know what they sound like when they're wandering out of the yard. So I think it's just, you know, I don't know. It's just whatever I am is just my nature to be with these guys.
Simply, I have hobbies. You know, I wakeboard, I golf, I ski. His hobby is the band. Am I right on that?
Yeah. And writing and, you know, corralling my cats.
Corralling the cats. Okay, and then
because people have said, did you never want to have kids? And I'm like, I can't get the ones I have now raised. So once I get this bunch out into the world, I might think about having my own.
You know, I think that ship has sailed with him.
I think it has too, with any number of them.
Okay, last but not least. There's a unique dynamic that exists in modern music between a lead singer and his right-hand musician in the band, and that synergy definitely exists between the two of us.
Gosh.
Wow.
Let's just take a minute to soak it in. No.
Now, here's what I'm thinking.
Everyone, soak it in.
I'm thinking he thought, I'm going to have to put something in a chapter about him. So if it's all gobbledygook, it isn't going to matter. You know, because you do have to wear boots when you read that. You really do. Because, you know, I can't even tell you all what his nickname. I don't even know if it's a nickname for me. It's just the name I respond to, which we can't say on a podcast. So when I hear that, I'm like, no, I don't buy that. That word, I do, because that I know how to respond to. This, I don't know what that is.
And I think Robert must have misunderstood me.
I was about to say,
that could have
this is Robert Nolan.
You know, the tape might have glitched right there.
But I do think that what a lot of people maybe have not enjoyed throughout the years, which I have just from growing up with y'all, is that like this is y'all's dynamic and it's really fun and it's really funny. And I think you get a little bit of that on stage. Mm-hmm. But it's a really fun.
This is
comedic
what it is.
Dynamic.
Yeah.
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 Like you said, you got to never leave middle school.
Which was, believe me, was perfect for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we've reacted to some stuff that's inside the book.
Mm-hmm.
So now let's react to some of the responses to the book.
Okay.
For this segment, Hunter has pulled some reviews from Amazon, and I want to hear what you guys have to say about what people have to say.
Okay. It better be nice.
Well, you take it up with Hunter. I don't know what he put in here.
Oh, I hope you've got my review in there.
I have an entire new level of respect for Mark and the other band members. There's only one part of the book that I still cannot believe to be true, that Mark Miller is an introvert. True.
Oh, man, is that true? That is beyond true.
Yep.
It's beyond true. And I think people are sometimes taken aback if they encounter him in the wild, where it's just he's so normal. They're expecting that whirling dervish.
I think that's why a lot of people don't recognize him in the wild.
Yeah.
Is because he's just walking around in a baseball cap and gym shorts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does the introvert have anything to say to that?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, second review. This book highlights for me the fact that Sawyer Brown is truly the greatest band of all time. Not because they pump out a huge number of hits or are on the radio constantly. That's a little LOL. But because they are real people who care about real things. And this book proves it.
Oh, wow.
Pinocchio is a real boy.
Yeah.
That,
Well, I think I hope when they hear our songs that that this solidifies that.
mm-hmm.
That we talk about we never had love songs, we had life songs. And that's who we are.
Yeah.
The stories of how they found unexpected fame and all the stories of how they stayed true to their Christian faith just gives me chills at times. It just goes to show that if you stand for something, you don't fall for everything.
Yeah. Well, if you read the book, it goes back to, my mom was just a strong believer. His folks were, that's where we came from, who we are. And, we just stuck to that all these years and still do to this day. We went to church yesterday, and then the pastor was talking, and we love this pastor at the church. And when we left, she said, "Why do you like him so much?" And I said, "Well, just to be honest, there's so much of what he says I heard my mother preach to me my whole life." And maybe that's why I love this guy.
Okay. And last but not least, Mark, I hope you will at least consider a narrator career on the side. And if not, then record some books for your grandkids.
Oh, my goodness. That was the hardest thing to do. The audiobook was the hardest thing for me to do in my whole life.
Now, how many days did it take you to record that?
Well, they had me slotted for 5. And I said, "Boys, my attention span," I said, "I will stay here. I will start reading." But you have to understand on the audiobook, which what I didn't know is you have to read it word for word. Like if you say an of and it's an is or what, they're going to correct you and you got to do it. And I remember I did it in 3.5 days. And I remember on like the third day, about 3/4 of the way through, the guy that is doing the fact check said, "Can we have a little more emotion?" And I'm like, "Dude, I'm here 3.5 days. I've got no emotion left."
Well, the only one left is anger.
yeah.
Yeah. But it was, thank you for that compliment, whoever that was. But there won't be a lot of me doing a lot of audiobooks in the future.
I knew that was going to be hard for him just because that's not his favorite thing to do is to read out loud.
To sit down and to have to be forced to do anything for a prolonged period of time. Okay, and just a couple of follow-up questions that fans have had is there one thing that you hoped readers would take away from the book?
Yeah. The fact that I have relied on my faith to get me through everything that I've experienced in my life.
This was a great platform for you to be able to talk about that.
Absolutely.
Was there any part that hit differently hearing it in your own voice when you were doing the audiobook?
Oh, that's a great question.
The Brooke Barringer story.
Okay.
Because, and I still get emotional talking about that because, this is someone we became very close to, and his life ended right when it was supposed to start. And just a great kid. And when I'm reading it, I had to stop a couple times, and I looked up, and to be honest, the engineer and the other guy got very emotional over that segment as well.
Yeah.
Okay, now what do you hope people feel when they finish the last page? What is like the overwhelming emotion or feeling that you want them to walk away with?
That they like the guy telling the story.
That's a great thing, because you want that sense of, hope you feel glad you spent the time that you spent with this person, which is how I felt.
I hope it was worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you only get, have a short amount of time, I want to just read the Hobie chapter. A lot of people say that's changed their lives. So
Yeah.
I still can't believe you wrote a book. I still can't believe it came out 2 years ago.
I know. As someone who does love reading and writing, I'm blown away by this book. And I've told you this already, so it's not like I'm telling you anything new. Again,
and that's life size.
That's life size.
And if you like the cover art,
and if
thank you. It was my creation.
If you do like this, it's like it is in Betty's Being Bad. See how you can do that spin? Not every book can do that.
On that note, friends, thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of the Boys and Me podcast, where we are celebrating the second anniversary of Mark's book, The Boys and Me, My Life in the Country Music Supergroup Sawyer Brown, a memoir by Mark Miller.
Congratulations.
If you haven't read it, no, I'm not done.
Gross.
No.
Now I'm not high-fiving you either.
You're putting time out.
No,
okay.
That's wrong, man.
If you have not gotten your copy of the book, it is available wherever you can find books. It's also available on audiobook if you prefer to read that way. And if you buy one of these at the show, Mark will sign it for you. So there's really no excuse as to Sawyer Brown Nation why you haven't read this yet.
And they can look for us in the autograph line.
They sure can.
Because we'll get our book signed.
Because we don't have our book signed.
I'm not signing your books.
Come on.
No.
Yeah, you are.
No.
Come on.
No.
Well.
And so help me, if you only put one G in Greg, it's game on.
Okay, Steve.
Moving on. Oh my gosh. And remember, follow, like, subscribe, and comment on all of Sawyer Brown's social media so we can stay connected. And if you guys have a favorite moment of Mark's memoir, please make sure that you are commenting and posting about it. And what else we got? Oh, you guys are playing a ton this year.
Oh, yeah.
All over the place.
Yeah.
So make sure that you are constantly checking the tour schedule as new dates are being added all of the time. So if you want to see the boys, grab your copy of The Boys and Me and get it signed. See them at the next show.
Yep.
Have a great week, y'all.
See you.
Yep.